This is Guns, Knives, and Watches with the Viair 88P portable compressor. You're going to see a lot of compressors that say they're good, really good portable compressors, and you're even going to see ones by this company. And I'm going to tell you why you would justify the cost of this one, which is the 88P, over some of the other models. And a lot of it has to do with just, this is a heavy-duty piece of equipment. You're going to pay $45 for one that's not as heavy a duty and might not be compatible with your car. This is the 88P, and this one is quite a bit more heavy. My advice is keep the box to store it if you're going to store it in your trunk, or you can, of course, keep all your twist ties, keep all your stuff, maybe put this in a bag. Now, why do we want this unit as opposed to a lot of the more commercial type products that are out in the market? Why? We have a direct drive, good solid steel electric motor onto an aluminum housing with a piston that actually has, you know, made just like a piston instead of some of this crappy shit they have out now, that actually is made really similar to the piston in your car. You've got rings, you've got this, there, the other, You've got baffles, basically for cooling. You know, we have air being able to move all the way up through it. You have the ability to take it apart, fix it. You have 120 psi tire pressure gauge. You have your on-off switch in the back. And, you know, got your little rubber feet, and you've got some attachments for, you know, blowing up air toys and this, there, or the other. But is that really important for this when we're talking about emergency preparedness for your vehicle? No, it isn't. So let's get down to the real business end of it. This is what you use. This is what makes it important. Now, you're going to see that this has a 10-foot cord on it with alligator clips. And the first response from most people are going to be, well, Guns, Knives, and Watches, doesn't that make it more dangerous? Shouldn't I get the one that just plugs into the cigarette lighter? And my recommendation with modern automobiles, this, there, the other, and with heavy-duty piece of equipment that can be repaired, no. Why not? Because this system requires a cigarette lighter that would have the capability of you drawing 20 amps off of it. Now, most modern cars, even though they sit there and say, well, you can draw 20 amps, this, there, or the other, unless you're got a truck or you have your vehicle and you know you can pull 20 amps through that, because the cigarette lighter has basically been reduced down to a phone charger or a radar detector or whatever else, you know. So it's not the same piece of heavy-duty kit that we used to have back in the day. The alligator clips will hook directly onto your battery. You have 10 foot of cord. You have a fuse that's easily removable, 20 amp fuse, same as what you use in your car. Not easily. It's pretty tight in there, boy. We're gonna pull it out. Oh God! Right now, man, I can't really get it done, but it's in there. That was kind of funny for me. Anyway, the deal of it is, man, it's only a 10-foot cord, but you've got a 16-foot air cord. Why is that? Well, I saw this other one. It said it's got a 15-foot cord or a 20-foot cord. Yeah, but DC, when you're actually running it through wires, the farther you have to run DC, the larger wire you have to have. Well, I've heard that with AC too. Yeah, but it's not the same. AC, the reason we use AC, or alternating current, is so that we can run power long distances with smaller wire. Where DC, if you've had a solar system or you've had this, there, or the other, takes much larger wires to take very much amperage. You know, it really doesn't matter on a solar setup that's very small. Let's say 100 amp setup, 100 watt setup. A lot of watts, man. 100 watt setup. But once you get in and you're running it, let's say 10 feet, doesn't really matter. But we're going to pull 12 volts, 10 feet, 20 amps. And we have a duty cycle on this at 30 psi of 25 minutes. Why is 30 psi important? Because 30 psi is actually the amount of pressure that it would take you normally to be able to drive a car. Most cars are around 30, 35, so that's important. So we've got 10 foot of cord here, we've got 16 here. It is much easier for this thing to move air down a 16-foot hunk of rubber hose than it is to move that power down this 10 foot of electrical cord. Now, so we've bypassed a weak link, which if you're going to blow stuff, you know, people complain about the cheaper version of this one that's around $40. The reason they're complaining is because their car is not capable of handling the real load, which pulls your duty cycles really down. Now, of course, at higher pressure and higher temperature or lower temperature, your duty cycles will vary. Your car with this, with I think all of these, has to be running because it will run your battery down. This is not a toy. It's not something you just give your kid and go, well, go plug it up, Jimmy Joe or Billy Jane or whatever, and blow up your floaty bobs, and we're going to go down the river. No, that is not what this is. This is a professional grade piece of equipment, and you know, or prosumer at $60. Now, another problem that people have is with this rotating, basically solid brass attachment. They want the quick attachments, this, that, or the other. Well, grow up, you know, seriously. You know, I would like a quick attachment too, but you know, I've worked with these for quite a bit of time, this, that, or the other, and you just get, you know, you get to the point to where you can use them. So let's pull up our big boy britches and actually, you know, work with what works. And threads work pretty well. So we've got our big solid electric motor. We've got our aluminum housing. We have our piston with our rings to basically seal the air. We have good, you know, heat sinks, basically drawing the heat out of this. We don't have to do any maintenance but to basically keep it clean. When you're operating it, of course, you have a simple on-off switch. Once you get to a certain pressure, turn your unit off and verify that you're actually at that pressure. And I would take it up a couple pounds more than that. Not a few, but a couple. And then, because you're going to lose a little bit of air when you're unscrewing that, you just get used to it. You know, it is just the way it works. Now, the reason I haven't not able to kind of be a smart butt on this video and on the other one is because these are really important pieces of equipment. And they're not just some tool to go out and, you know, hunt and kill and this, that, or the other and da-da-da-da-da. If you use these incorrectly, just like a gun, you can damage yourself. You can put yourself in a worse situation. People, when they're out in disaster type situations, it's the small mistakes that get you killed. It's the small mistakes that make situations worse, and it just creates a ever continuing cascade of bad decisions, bad events. It's like rain. Rain falling on your head will make you think squirrely things and make you make bad decisions. Well, go out there and, you know, I got a flat tire. Well, all of a sudden I got a tire, but my thing just pulled my battery down to where it won't start my car. But this thing works as long as you have an understanding and use it a few times and use it regularly. Well, I use mine all the time. Not this particular one, but another one. And I really, really, really like them. If you're really afraid of, you know, how heavy duty this thing is and this, there, or the other, and da-da-da-da-da, and you can't keep it together to use a professional system, by all means go with one of the more consumer oriented type products. And you know, having them is better than having nothing, but still I would try to push you towards something like this, and then get the familiarity and get the understanding of what this actual piece of equipment is, what it has the potential to do, this, that, or the other. And then get your mindset right, where you can actually use this piece of equipment in a disaster situation, which might just be as simple as your tire goes flat, which is a whole other use for those bags. I mean, there is no limit to the use of this stuff if you buy the correct things. It's not about just having 50 guns. It's not about just this, that, or the other. It is about having tools that actually work. And this is the Viair, that's probably, I'm pronouncing it wrong, probably 88P with them, their alligator clips. And this is definitely the one I would get. I would not get any of the other ones. This is definitely, all of them are good, but this one gives me the most options. Like if you have a dump trailer or a trailer that's got a battery on it, I can hook this directly up to that battery on it, and if I have a problem with a tire on that piece of equipment, I'm not limited to just where I have a 12-volt plug. I'm limited to where I have a battery. This is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and hope it helps. Peace out.